Hello, Andy Shrimpton here from Gaatech.com, and this is just an update on a blue box series for the FrSky D4R-II receiver holders. They've been updated because finally, after months of waiting, the rigid antenna tubes have finally arrived. You wouldn't believe how difficult these have been to get hold of. So just going to tip the box out just to show you the updated versions of the holders, and I've actually added a couple of extras so that we'll just do one at a time. So basically you'll know how these are going to work. You're going to stick this on your craft somewhere. You can feed the antenna wires through and then you feed them up the holes. If I put it down, okay, and then you just gently pull them through, a bit at a time. And it's important to, when you're fitting these in, obviously the antennas connect through a little pop-on spacer, and there, I don't know if you can actually see on the camera, but they're actually hot glued, or glues that don't twist easily on the back of the receiver. So what you don't want to do is push the receiver all the way home. Generally about there is just enough to allow the cable to bend up through the hole without twisting the antenna receiver. So then you would obviously double side sticky tape the receiver onto the holder, the tube slip over, and you might just have to trim them to length. They're going to be long enough, but if you want to get an exact measurement, I've trimmed them off slightly longer than you need. Again, little dab of super glue or hot glue to keep the rods from coming off, because you don't want these coming off and dropping through your propellers. And if you're doing long range stuff or longer than sort of normal line of sight, you don't want one of the tubes vibrating off and then one of your antennas not being in the right position. So it's important that you are securing the tubes to them, and that's it. And there's now obviously a cutout on the side of the holders to allow you to get the cables on the side, which does the telemetry. So that's that one. So that is, I can't remember exactly what I name them. I think that is vertical upright, that one. This is the same thing, but it's horizontal. So if you want your antennas sticking out the back of your craft, or if you want to stick them upright on something on your craft, or even downwards on your craft, so the antennas are pointing at 45 degrees downwards, that gives you scope to do that. So that's those two. This is a 45-degree angle upwards, so you can see that the antennas are upwards. And you can see on this one, I actually printed all of these different shapes on my 3D printer, and because this one had to be printed upright, the printer wouldn't print the objects one at a time, so they were all printed all at once. And what that means, the printer will do a couple of layers on one shape, then move to the next shape, do a couple of layers, so the shapes virtually all finish off at the same time. And that made a bit of stringing, which I've never been able to get rid of, and I'm going to put a photograph what I mean about the stringing into this video, and you'll see what I mean. So don't be alarmed that on this one you can see where there was a significant amount of stringing. I've rubbed the stringing off with a, where is it, my rubbing block. If you haven't got one of these, a perma grip tools, I highly recommend you log on to their website and have a look at their tools. They're absolutely brilliant. You get what you pay for. They're not the cheapest tool on the market, but they are almost for that. They are brilliant tools. So if you don't want the big rubbing block, which I find great for rubbing down flat 3D prints, you can get that. They do a needle file set, which is just as good. So I've rubbed down the string in this, so it makes a little light grey pattern. If I wash these off, it would go slightly darker, but it's not prints that have had string in. Obviously this is a normal finish of a 3D print. Anything that's had string in, you're going to get a bit of sandpaper mark just to make it smooth. Also, all the antenna holes I check, and I run a 3.2mm drill bit up the hole to make sure that when you receive the product at your end, the antenna tube should slip in. So that's that. So this, so that one was the vertical up. Sorry, 45 degrees vertically. Well, got that wrong again. 45 degrees up, so it's sloped at an angle. This one is 45 degrees down. So if you're putting it on your craft like so, it goes down, and the other one would go 45 degrees up. So then this is the sort of the semi-standard one, just 45 degrees up. This is a different version of the 45 degree down, so if you want to fit it tight against something like this, instead of the antenna sticking out at 45 degrees, they just stick down 45 degrees downwards. Someone asked me for that and I printed it especially for him, but it's in the store for you other guys. And then, did we cover this one? This is just 45 degrees out the back, horizontal. So I need to update the pictures on the website to reflect you're now getting the rigid tubes instead of the plastic flexible tubes, which was my stopgap when I first launched these products. So they're all on the store. So just make sure you get the right orientation. If you can't find the orientation that you require, just drop me a message on the bottom of the video and I'll design you one. So, you know, this is designed for all of these. They all have the cutouts, but again, there's no need to ram the receiver right up to the end, because you don't really want to unstick the antenna wires from the receiver. But there's plenty of cutout to allow you to get the telemetry on, and they all have the cutouts, which I must admit the early versions didn't. But some of you were just trimming off the sides to get the cable out, but that was my oversight, and it wasn't until I was trying to mount my own receiver I thought I'd been stupid and I forgot to put the cutout on the side. So the cutout on the side. You've now got the tubes. Let's just quickly weigh them, because I know someone's going to ask how much they weigh. So this is the standard horizontal 45 degree. I think they're all going to be pretty much the same. So that's 5.71 grams. The 45 degree down, 5.4. 45 degree up, 5.26. The 45 degree space tapering down both directions, 6.997, and then the 45 degree up in two directions, 6.74. So yes, they do add a little bit of weight, but I think this is the only professional way, or the best looking way to mount your receiver, to give your receiver, oh, wrong way, give your receiver a little bit protection if it's mounted on a top plate. But it's really just to show the updates of the products. The cutouts are now on, and the plastic tubes are now rigid. So that's it. Please do add comments on the bottom. If you're looking for 3D printed parts that you can't find, drop me, or put a message in the video below, or send me an email, contact me through my website, sales@gaatech.com, and I will get busy 3D designing. So hope you've enjoyed that quick little video. This is Andy signing out. Many thanks for watching. Ciao for now.